Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you are rejoining us. Welcome if this is your first time here. My name is Marissa Price. I am a social worker, healer, virtual assistant, online business educator, dedicated to creating safe spaces on the internet for Black women to heal. Before I forget, if you could please subscribe if you like my content, because I always forget to say that. But yes, with me today, I have a wonderful guest, the amazing Quinn Edwards, who is a virtual assistant. So I will pass it over to her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about her background.
Yeah, hi, this is awesome. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay!
My first YouTube live.
Yes.
So I'm Quinn Edwards. I grew up in the Northeast. I went to school in Maine. I've had a lot of crazy careers before I started to do virtual assisting. So a long time ago, back in the day, I did marine science research. So I did genetic research. I worked on boats. I worked in labs with fish. I did an internship with NOAA. Then after that, I worked in an industrial hazards testing facility. So I tested explosives for a couple of years.
I didn't know that.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, that was kind of a crazy job too. And then after that, I started teaching. So I started teaching middle school math and science, and I've been doing that for the last 12 years. And then I started my virtual assistant business last June, so June 2023. And I've been being a virtual assistant ever since.
Yes, yes. And I want to ask you about like how and why you started your virtual assistant business. It's called Smiling Squirrel
Yes.
Virtual Solutions, which is so cute, and your logo is everything. And I will link the link to your portfolio and how to schedule a discovery call with you in the chat. But just like how you even came upon this of wanting to be a virtual assistant and starting your business.
Yeah, so in February of last year, so February 2023, like the first week in February, we did Hannah Dixon's virtual assistant 5-day challenge, which is amazing. I recommend everybody to do it. It's coming up soon to do another challenge. And I did the challenge. I really enjoyed it. The community aspect of being a virtual assistant is amazing. I mean, Hannah's community is phenomenal. And I wanted something that I could do to transition out of the classroom. So I can do virtual assisting anywhere. I can be location independent. And that's really the key for me. So being a teacher, you're stuck to one geographic location. You can't really move around too much. You have a pretty rigid schedule. So you are at the same place, same time.
Right.
Every day is the same schedule too. So I really wanted a lot more freedom in location and just time freedom. We all want location and time freedom.
That's
so,
true.
So that was like my main motivator, is just have a little bit more location and time freedom. So I can live my life pretty much.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. Yeah. And we met in the 5-day VA challenge last year, which you just reminded me of. I'm like, that was a year ago. Okay. And my life is like completely different. So the 5-day VA challenge, which I'll also link in the chat, is coming up through Digital Nomad Kit, but it kind of gives you like an overview of what a virtual assistant is, how you can tap into your existing skill set to really start your own business, right? And have that location independent lifestyle to be able to work with the clients that you want to work with. I think that's pivotal, especially like exiting a toxic job, right? And having people around me that I really did not care for. And now to be able to pick the clients that I work with and have them be aligned with me already is huge.
Yes,
it's huge.
Definitely. And you asked me about the name too.
Yes.
So it just came by chance. Like, it's one of those things, you're like in the shower, it just like comes to you.
Ideas in the shower.
Oh yeah, the shower idea.
Yes.
So I, like, when I first started, I was thinking of a name, right? Because usually you just pick your first and last name. So I did what everybody does, just Google your name and see what pops up. And I realized that there were a lot of people called Quinn Edwards that had websites. So never knew that existed. None of them were me, and none of them looked like me. A lot of them were actually like young guys. So I figured, Yeah. If you get a chance later, you can Google it. It's pretty interesting what pops up. It definitely does not look like me. So then I thought, okay, what can I do that's not my name, right? So I wanted to pick something unique. I looked at different combinations of virtual assistant, virtual solutions, all of that. And then I thought about what do I like to do? So I like to be outside. I like to go hiking, uh, out in nature, all of that. And I find that squirrels are just always around me. I don't know. They're like trying to give me a message or something. So then I thought, okay, I really like that idea. Squirrels are, they're zippy. They're always getting things done. They have a task to do, and they're on it. And that's kind of how I operate pretty much. So if you give me a list, I'm on it. That's kind of, how I function. So I thought, okay, well, squirrels are cute. And then
They
I
are.
thought again, it's like, oh, well, just every time you see a squirrel, you have to smile, right? They're just so stinking cute.
You have
So
to.
then that's
Hmm.
smiling squirrel.
I love that. I love that. Yes,
Yeah.
Smiling Squirrel Virtual Solutions, and I linked her website in the chat if you want to schedule a discovery call with her. But yeah, I would like to know. Let's just see here. What kind of services you offer as a virtual
Ooh,
assistant? Because I know like virtual assistant can like span A to Z, right, of the services you offer. So just what services do you offer as a
ooh.
virtual assistant?
Quite a bit. So I'm taking a lot of, I've had so many different jobs. So I'm able to transfer a lot of different skills that I have from other jobs to virtual assisting, especially teaching. I mean, the amount of things to juggle throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the year is a lot. So services I offer are inbox management. So
Hmm.
responding to clients, so client emails come in, respond, cleaning up inboxes, getting to inbox zero. Love inbox zero. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Oh.
I'm
I'm looking at my
obsessed.
inbox now.
I'm
Oh,
obsessed with
yeah.
inbox zero. Just labels, everything is color coordinated and labels and tabs and subtabs. Oh my goodness, it's amazing. I love it. Um, Social media management. So creating graphics and also writing the copy, researching the hashtags too. So a lot of social media management, newsletter creation. I love using Flowdesk. Flowdesk is such a great tool. And you can also make
Mhm.
templates in Flowdesk too. So then you can template out so that you have the same template for every month or every week, however often your newsletter is. So right now I'm working with somebody to do a monthly newsletter. It's pretty big newsletter. It's pretty cool. There's lots of information in there.
Yeah.
Webinar moderation. So I taught during the pandemic, so I know the ins and out of Zoom quite well. So, and I also do that for another client. So webinar moderation. So pretty much keeping track of attendance, answering questions that are in the chat. So if somebody's presenting and there's questions that pop up, it's really hard to answer those in the moment if you're presenting. Usually you don't see those. So as a webinar moderator, I will answer some of the quick questions. And then if there's a Q&A at the end, I'll collect all of the questions and then submit them at the end. So then they're all kind of consolidated. So you have to go scrolling through the feed or anything. Also research. I did a ton of research, marine science research. So biology, chemistry, a little bit of physics, tons of earth science. So taking scientific research, reading papers and then translating them to,
Hmm.
everyday speak. So it's not crazy, like 20 pages of a research topic, kind of distilling it down. I offer that. Making presentations. So teacher, every day doing presentations. So presentations
Yes.
in PowerPoint, Google Slides, and Canva too. So they all have kind of different tools, but more or less they're roughly the same, just different features in them. I like Canva the best just because there's a lot more like pictures and stuff you can do. But yeah, all three of those. And creating courses. That's the new service that I'm starting to offer is course creation. So
Yes.
creating a scope and sequence, making sure that the information that's being presented makes sense in the order that it's being presented in, because you don't want to talk about something in one class that wasn't mentioned in the class before.
Right.
So helping with scope and sequence, pacing as well too, because a lot of courses that are online courses, a lot of them are self-paced, but at the same time, you want to make it manageable chunks. You don't necessarily want to have like 2-hour videos for every single lesson. Uh,
Hmm.
so managing scope and sequence like that. And last year, after I finished my virtual assistant certification, I also finished my podcast manager certification. So I offer podcast management as well. So all the things.
All the things. That list is long. Yes, yes. So y'all please reach out to Quinn. if you are in need of a virtual assistant in any of those areas. And yeah, with my webinar last year, Start Your Online Business from Scratch, just having you assist me with that to be able to answer questions in the chat so I could focus on the content was huge. Was huge. So that service alone, like webinar moderation, and especially as we see like online business kind of taking off over the next like few years, right? It's expected to just explode. And so there's going to be a huge demand and need for the services that you offer. So yeah.
That was a fun webinar we did. Like I loved your presentation. Oh, it was so amazing.
Thank you. Yes, I did have fun. And just having you support me with that, right? Because a lot of times, like, especially as Black women, we feel like we have to do everything ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Just like pile it on. And the fact that you can like hand those tasks over to someone who is trusted, who you can, trust that will complete them. That's huge. That's huge. That takes so much of the burden off of you that you would normally experience, I feel like. So yes.
Yeah.
I see a
webinars
question
are fun.
from...
Webinars are so fun. I love webinars. Because I'm learning too. I mean, I'm like learning and then answering questions. I'm doing like 15 different things.
Yes.
But it's a lot of fun. I learned a ton.
Yes. Kia has a question. I'm a little concerned because I need to sharpen my tech computer skills. I know it's crucial for being a VA and willing to put in the work. Yes, I'll say tech computer skills are needed. Of course, as a virtual assistant, you are online not 24/7. Hopefully you're not working 24/7. But for your job, right? All of it is online, right? Mm-hmm. I just have my laptop with me and I'm able to kind of travel and work virtually. So tech skills are very important, but it's also something that you can learn, right? And I think even taking part in the 5-day VA challenge or digital Nomad Kit will give you a better understanding on the tech skills that you may need to learn along the way. Do you have any like advice or anything on learning?
Tech skills. I mean, a lot of tech skills, it can be learned relatively quickly. And just like if you're just starting out, like brand new to tech, just Google Suites, just learn how to do Gmail, learn the ins and outs of Gmail, how to set up labels, inbox management, that kind of thing. Google has a great learning center too. So you can just type in whatever you're looking for. So how to filter an inbox, right? You can just type that in, and then Google has their own learning center. And they have, I don't know if they still have this, but Google used to have G Suite certification. So you watch a specific sequence of videos, then you would be certified in whatever that was. So Gmail and Google Slides and that kind of thing. But Google Learning Center, I think, is probably the best place to start if you're not familiar with that platform. Because that's the most versatile, right? Because you could do PowerPoint presentations, so Google Slides, Google Sheets, which is Excel, and then Google Docs is just Word docs and email.
That's a great tip. Yep, Google Suite, getting familiarized with that. Yeah.
And everything else is YouTube. Watch YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube University.
Yes. And in a lot of the platforms you're looking at, like Canva, for example, they have their own learning suite as well as Google. So if you want to learn Canva, just go to Canva's website and they have their own video sequence library on how to do certain things. So a lot of the platforms themselves have built-in learning centers. So you can just go to their sites and usually it's under the help section in each site. And then it has either videos or they have like just written information about it. So I would say start off at the platform itself, see if they have anything that's helpful, and then go to YouTube.
That is a great tip. Yeah, because I know with me learning like ThriveCart, which is an online sales platform, I went straight to the Learning Center, read through the articles, taught myself how to use the tool. So the information is out there. You just have to know where to look and know that it is available to you and accessible to you, especially in like the online environment. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Kia. Yes. Oh, yay. I'm glad to hear that. Just signed up for the challenge. I'm hopeful. Yes. The challenge is amazing. And I'll link that again in the chat. That's the 5-day VA challenge through Digital Nomad Kit, which is the program that both Quinn and I completed to become virtual assistants. Yes.
That is the best place to go. Oh my goodness. If you want to be a virtual assistant, 100%, that is the best place to go. Believe me, I have experience with other programs and this is by far the best.
Yes, it is. It truly is. And I guess just going on that, how has like being a part of Digital Nomad Kit under Hannah Dixon's leadership. How has that helped you on your entrepreneurship journey? Because we know entrepreneurship can be tough, right? There's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
information to learn, and just having access to that community, just how has that helped you
Uh,
along?
I mean, it's beyond amazing. It's just so helpful. There's so many people in the community, and it's an international community too. So there's people all over the world. Very supportive. Ask a question, it's usually answered within the day, if not within a couple of hours. So people are pretty quick to offer advice and help out. If you want somebody to look at your portfolio, they're encouraging, giving you positive feedback and useful feedback, not just saying, oh, it's great, like actually helping you and giving you good tips on how to maybe improve things, or if you have questions about your logo, people offer that information too. And everybody's just super friendly. It's just like the happiest place on the internet. So like I've just met so many like awesome entrepreneur friends. So when I start
Yes.
traveling, I just have so many places I want to visit. It's like I want to visit this person here, this person there. And it's really unique because this community, you have lifetime access to it when you're in the program. That's not the case for a lot of other online communities. I have experience with other online communities where there's a monthly fee of $50, $60 and upward, just for access to the Facebook group. And once you're in Hannah's program, that's it. Like you're just in it for life. And there's always updates. So Hannah updated, I think 2 or 3 times last year since we signed up. There's so many amazing things being added all the time. And they're on all the new tech too. So new tech, new rules, anything. So you're always being updated. Hannah and her team does an amazing job of keeping us well informed on what's going on. Like changes to just any of the tech platforms. I know Canva had a change last year where they were kind of limiting how many people can be on your team. So there's just a lot of things that are changing all the time in tech. And Hannah and her team do a really good job helping us out.
Yeah. Digital Nomad Kit, being a part of that, especially transitioning out of a toxic job, right? And coming into a community that is so supportive, willing to share information, willing to praise you and congratulate you for the successes that you have. That has just been amazing and life-changing, really, just being a part of that community. Yeah.
Life-changing. That's the best way to put it. Just life-changing. It's just like you're just nervous. You're starting a brand new business and everybody's like, you can do it. You're amazing. Like keep going, like keep like working hard. And it's just the positivity is just infectious. Like you're just like, yeah, I can do it.
It is. Agreed. I'm seeing people signing up. Yes.
More 5-day challenges.
The educator. Yes. Sign up for the 5-day challenge. Yes. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. And it will give you insight into the skills you already have, right? And a lot of us, even transitioning out of toxic jobs, right? We forget the skill set that we have along the way because someone has downplayed it. Someone has questioned it along the way. And so being able to tap back into that, like, no, I do have skills and I can use them to build my business and have a location independent lifestyle. Like that's crucial. Yeah.
Oh yeah. You don't know what you know, right? So like you don't really sit down and list off everything that you're doing every day. Like you're using Gmail or Outlook every day. You can manage an inbox because you're already managing your own inbox at work. So just the stuff that you're doing every day. If you work in a bank and you're doing Excel spreadsheets, guess what? You can probably help somebody do invoicing as a virtual assistant. So there's so many things that are transferable. It's just you just don't know what you're doing all the time, because if you are in a toxic job situation, then you're just kind of in survival mode, right? You're just trying to get through the day, and then you're not even like thinking about, you know, all the skills that you have, because you're just like, okay, I need to make it till 5 o'clock and that's it.
That's
but
true.
Yeah, if you,
that's so true.
Everybody has skills.
Everyone has skills.
Yeah,
that's true. Yes. And you can use those to tap into, right? To build your own business. It doesn't have to be like this new thing that you have to learn. You already have skills. I guarantee you, just going through day to day, like you said, stuff that you may overlook. But once you have the opportunity and the challenge to kind of list the things that you like to do, right? And that people are looking to hire for, that's huge. And that can open up so many opportunities that you didn't even realize before, just having that understanding.
Yeah, definitely. You can do it. Sign up for the challenge. I'm so excited. So many people signed up. That's awesome.
Yes. Mara asked, besides social media, are there other platforms to get gigs as a VA that you guys use? Let's see. So we don't use, I think one of Hannah's pieces of advice is to kind of steer away from those platforms that may be suggested, typically like Upwork, and kind of build your audience authentically, right? So using social media like this, like I've used YouTube before, Instagram, authentically connecting with your client base by identifying their needs and then targeting your messaging towards them. But I'd be curious if you have anything to share just around marketing your business and attracting your people.
Being consistent is kind of the key, right? So you don't want to just post like once a month, right? Nobody's gonna keep up with you if you're doing that. So if you're using social media, so we use Instagram. I don't use Facebook as much, but Instagram, just being consistent with that, posting on a regular basis. You don't have to post multiple times a day, so we don't have to kind of play with the algorithm. If you're consistent and you're just having one authentic post a day that speaks to your audience, that speaks about you as a person, people want to work with people. Nobody wants to work with a robot, right? We're not we're not hiring ChatGPT for everything. People still need to work with people. So you need to show your personality. If you're making jokes, I make jokes all the time. So just like show your personality so people can get kind of like a feel for you as a person. I think that's key. Right. I think a lot of us are a little nervous about going on like lives and showing our faces and everything, but people want to work with people. They want to see you. They want to know who you are. So I think being consistent and just being yourself, being authentic, because if you're trying to be somebody else, then it's not going to work. It's people can see through that. You really want to be yourself.
That's key. Yep. The more that you can tap into who you are, right, authentically, your people will naturally be attracted to that. Yes. And that kind of goes off Cheryl's question too. How do you market yourself? Do you have to have a certification to be for a VA? No. So you don't need a certification. I think what the certification through Digital Nomad Kit helped me was to realize my skill set, first of all, and how I can use it to market my services. And also like the tech tools, just having that library of tech tools that I can go back to, refer to, like you said, Hannah updates that, right? And the team updates that consistently. Having that information and also the connection to the community through Digital Nomad Kit. If I do have questions just about entrepreneurship throughout the journey, I'm able to go back to that community, have lifetime access, and just ask a question and know that it will be responded to. So I think that's the benefit that I found in having that certification. I don't know if you want to share anything about that.
Yeah, a lot of it is just knowing the platform, right? So you're not spending 20 hours learning Canva. You're not spending 20 hours learning how to use Flowdesk. You're learning the basics. And then once you start using them, you'll get a feel for them. You'll only use certain parts of the platform, right? So not everybody is uploading video and audio to Canva. You can, and it's a way to make like Instagram reels. You don't have to do that. So you can just get the general idea and just know the names of different platforms. So something like Canva or Flowdesk interests you, then you can dive a little bit deeper. That's why I really like the course. You get an introduction, you get an overview of the basics, and then you know how to do the basic setup for all of those. But then once you're working and you need to learn a little bit more, you're just going to learn a little bit more naturally. You're going to either look it up yourself, or if you're working with somebody on a specific platform, they'll show you how to do it. So I never used Flowdesk, but the client that I was working with, they wanted me to take over the newsletter, and they just showed me how to use Flowdesk. They were like, here's the basics, 20 minutes on a Zoom call, and that was it. So even if you don't know something, people are willing to teach you. So if the client likes you as a person and they are growing their business, they'll keep you and just show you how to do a platform that they're using that you might not be familiar with. So don't be afraid of not knowing the platform, because chances are you can learn it quickly. And then somebody, if they like you, they'll just show you how to use it.
That's key. Yeah. It's kind of getting out of that. You have to know everything before you start.
Yeah. You do not.
Which I know is something I ran into. It's like, no, especially in this field, if you know the basics, right? If you Google, if you YouTube the basics and then just learn on the job, that's basically how I go about it, right? Being a virtual assistant. A lot of these platforms continue to be updated. So you're never going to get to a point where you know everything, and you're not going to have to stop learning, right? That's the thing about digital tools too. Constantly have new updates, new features added to them. Yeah.
Yes, all the time, multiple times throughout the year.
Yes, yes. So flexibility, I think, is key in this field, and an interest in learning new things, right? If you like to learn new things, this is the perfect field for you because there's new things constantly being created in the online business environment.
Oh yeah, and there's more than one way to do a lot of things too. So you can use,
Yeah,
like if you're doing like your back end like organization, you can use Asana, you can use Trello, you can use ClickUp, you can use Dubsado. Like there's so many different tools for the same thing. Like you don't have to use Flowdesk for your newsletter. You can just do it in Canva, or you can just make it in a different platform altogether. You can use Adobe Photoshop. So there's multiple platforms for every task, basically. So if you don't know one, if you know the basics of one, then more or less that information transfers to the other platform. Like Trello and Asana are very similar. So if you know one, you more or less can kind of figure out the other one pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Daniela says, that's such a wonderful thought. Everyone has skills. We do.
You do?
We do. Yep. Just got to tap into them. Yep. Let's see. Amina has a question. On average, how many hours a week do you work? So for me, I think it depends. Typically, I'll work about 25 hours a week being a virtual assistant. And the other hours I'll spend working on my business. So that's also an option if you're looking to start your business, pursue your passion, your hobby. Being a virtual assistant kind of gives you that flexibility to do that in a lot of ways. But I'll pass it to you. How many hours per week do you typically work?
Well, I'm for working full time, so that's like a whole different question. So my working varies. Right now, I have 3 monthly clients, 2 projects coming on. I have I just signed like a 4th monthly client, so I'm starting to get a lot more work. But usually it varies between like 1 to 4 hours a day, depending. So I'm doing a decent amount of work right now, but it's not overwhelming, right? So I just come home from school and I can work. A lot of times it can be spaced out. Certain things are not time dependent. So you're not like under the clock, so to speak, like you would be in like a corporate job. So a lot of it is asynchronous. So you don't necessarily have to do things between a certain time frame, right? So you can just kind of work a specific amount. I think I'm up to probably like 10 hours a week, maybe. I would say like maybe 5 to 10. It kind of depends on the week and the projects that I have going on.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that is an option. If you're still working full time, you can start your VA business while you're still working, right? And transition into that. So that is an option too. Yes, let's see. Here's a question. If we become VAs, is there a beginner's rate we should charge? So this is one of the exercises that Hannah walks you through during the challenge. And it kind of depends on your lifestyle, right? Your expenses, your skill set, what area of virtual assistants are you entering into? Because some charge higher rates depending on the skill set that you have. So that is an exercise that we walk through during the 5-day VA challenge if you sign up. Yeah.
Yes, definitely sign up. It helps so much too, because you really have to value yourself. I love the challenge because it teaches you how to value yourself too. So you're not out here trying to work for $5 an hour. Like we're not doing that. Like we have skills, we have experience in the business setting, right? So corporate America, I've been teaching, I've worked in labs. So you have experience doing other things. So use that to your advantage. Like you're not starting from zero. So just because this is a new title, you're not starting from zero. Like you already have skills, you're just using them in a different place. So don't think that you're quote unquote a beginner. You already know how to do a lot of things.
Okay, that was a mic drop. Because that's so true. That's so true. And even coming from like a corporate space, like the banking area, like I was an assistant vice president at the bank I worked at. So I have all of those skill sets that I'm bringing into being a virtual assistant. So even though, like you said, it's a new title, I still have all of this experience that I'm bringing, and I can charge an appropriate rate from what I'm bringing to the table. So that's true. It does teach you how to value yourself and your skill set. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, please do not charge $10 an hour. Don't do that.
No.
You're
not
worth
in
much more than
2024.
that. No.
No. Yes. Yes. But I would like to ask if you have any lessons that you've learned along the way that you'd like to share with other Black women who are aspiring entrepreneurs.
Yeah, just start.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid of it. You don't have to go
Yeah.
from like 0 to 6 figures in a week. Like there's no rules to this. So there's not anything that you have to hit. Nobody's telling you to do anything anymore. That's the best part about freelancing. So nobody's saying, okay, you have to hit X amount of sales goal. No, that's not a thing. You're doing your own, you're doing your own thing, right? So you
Yeah.
don't have somebody telling you have to reach a specific quota. You don't have somebody telling you you need to do X, Y, and Z in a certain time frame. So just start. So I think a lot of times something like this can seem a little scary just because
Yeah.
it's not common, it's quote unquote like not conventional. Uh, and we can always get stuck like what ifing ourselves to death, right? What if I start? What if this? What if this? Just start it. Like you won't know the answer to your what ifs until you actually start. And just starting small. So taking maybe one client, if you have a full-time job, taking one client, see how that goes, and then building it up slowly. So just going at your own pace, recognizing when it's kind of time to do the transition from a full-time kind of corporate job to full-time freelancing, kind of recognizing your own needs. And then don't take advice from people whose life you don't want. If the
Oh,
person you are getting advice from is corporate America 100% and will never go freelance and never kind of branch out, don't take
yeah.
their advice. They are not leading the life you want to lead. So if they are happy with where they're working, that's totally fine. That's their journey. You have your own journey. So if somebody's kind of giving you feedback, oh, I don't know about this, it's risky. I mean,
Hmm.
10 years from like 5 years down the line, when you are living on the beach and globetrotting, that same person is going to come to you and say, hey, how did you do this? And you can just be like, I've been doing it all along and everybody said, don't do it.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to start. You don't need to learn how to code. You don't need to do a website. Like
No.
I finished Hannah's course in the summertime. I went on Instagram, typed in Smiling Squirrel Virtual Solutions, and made an Instagram business account. And that was it. I'm in business.
Hmm.
So went to Facebook, got a Facebook business page, started a link tree, made a portfolio on Canva, just what I was doing, essentially just what I did as a teacher and what I did in the lab, and kind of pieced it out. How does that translate to virtual assistant work? And that was it. Right? Like I didn't make a website. I don't code anything. I didn't go into like some kind of office and set up an LLC. You don't really need to do all that to begin with. There's no real like have to do's. The only thing you have to do is have a way for people to pay you and just
Hmm.
use PayPal or Stripe. Those are the easiest ones, most accessible to people, kind of depending on your location and what country you're working from. But you don't need a whole bunch of stuff to get started. Just
You don't.
right now, you can, after this video, go on Instagram, click on open new account. That's it. You're in business.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you did it. You're in business.
That's so
So
true.
it doesn't have to be that complicated. As you
It
grow, if
doesn't.
you want to build out a website, if you want to learn WordPress, all of that, sure, why not? But to get started, just go on Instagram, make a business account, and that's it. That's you. You're in business.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. And a lot of the ways we've been taught about business is like the traditional sense, right? Before online business was even a thing. And now, like you said, just create an Instagram profile. That's
Yeah,
your business.
that's it.
That's your business. You're already advertising to your client base, right? Just by posting, having a business name, and that's it, right? And a way to
Yeah,
collect payments, like you said, PayPal or Stripe, the
that's it.
two like biggest online payment processors, right? So
Yeah,
it can be easy, and you can get started like tonight. Like it's
yeah.
really that easy.
It will take you
Yes.
5 minutes to make an Instagram business account. Not even 5 minutes. If you already know the name, just click and go.
Yes.
And then same thing with PayPal. Just hook it up to your bank so that when people pay you, it goes into your bank, and that's it. So studying a business can literally take 5 to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the setting up part. Obviously, you have to go out and get the clients, and that's a little bit. You have to put a little bit more work in. But just to start, just
Right.
start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just start.
That's so true. That's so true. I see a question from D Mills. I want to start, but I need to evaluate as a person who lives outside the US how I can or will be paid. So, living outside of the US now, I am paid, right, the same way I was in the US through PayPal. And my clients are mostly US based. I know Quinn has clients around the world at
Yes,
this time.
everywhere.
Global VA over here. Yes. But yeah, PayPal. It's as simple as that. Just PayPal.
Yeah.
Sending an invoice online, they'll pay it how they normally pay it. The only thing that comes around with tax time, you typically have to submit quarterly taxes as an entrepreneur. But that's the only thing. That's the only
Yeah.
thing.
And then
It's pretty easy as
making
that.
sure that when you are sending the invoice, you are charging in your own currency. So I have a client now, she is in Australia. I don't charge her in Australian dollars, I charge her in US dollars. So you don't have to change your currency for your client. They pay you in your currency.
That's a great tip. That is a great tip. Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, Mocha Mommy says, I am a VA for a few sports bloggers. That's so cool. You can find VA jobs around your hobbies. You really can. You really can. Just tapping into your target audience, right? Who do you want to work with? That's key. And then just creating content around that, creating messaging around that, marketing your skill set towards them. That's huge. And thank you for sharing that. Yes, yes.
That's awesome. That's
And
so
I am
interesting.
gonna, yeah, I was gonna say I am gonna link my webinar that Quinn assisted me with last year. Start your online business from scratch. If y'all do want to check that out, that is a free webinar that I recorded. If you do need help kind of determining how to start, in that, I think paired with the 5-day VA challenge, you're set, right? That
Yeah.
information is key. And someone did ask about the cost. Let me see here. Cheryl, yes. Is it costly to go through the course after the 5-day challenge? I did not find it costly at all, especially in comparison to other VA training programs. I know there was an instructional design program that I was looking at too. I was like, there's no way that I can afford that. So to me, it was very affordable. I know that's one of Hannah's like values, to keep it affordable as possible for people wanting to become VAs. So
and there's different levels too. So you can do kind of the VA package, or you can do like the legacy package, which also includes the podcasting and WordPress. So Hannah's course, she has different levels that you can start at.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. Hey, did want to ask anything that has surprised you about being a business owner? Now that we're almost a year in
surprises
to the challenge. Yeah.
I don't know. I think the thing that surprised me the most was just like how easy it was to get started.
Yes, me too.
So it's like, okay, I'm in business. Like I just posted on Instagram that I'm in business and that's it. Like, I think that surprised me the most, because you always see like people like, oh, you're on the beach, you're in Thailand, you're a digital nomad. And it always seems really difficult, right? It just seems like, oh, this person's a trust fund baby, or they must have millions of dollars from their other jobs saved up. And it's like, you really don't need a lot of startup. I mean, you have a laptop, that's it. As long as you have a laptop and Wi-Fi, you don't need a whole bunch of other equipment. If you're doing specialty things, if you're like coding or doing something like that, you might need or video editing, you might need a higher end laptop just to handle all of that data. But you just need a basic laptop and Wi-Fi. So I think the ease of how literally how easy it is to just open a business, just say you're in business. I think that part surprised me the most, because again, it's not something that people talk about a lot. It can be a little intimidating to be a freelancer, to kind of just jump off the ledge, so to speak, and just do something that's unconventional. There's millions of freelancers all over the world. I mean, they're out there living their lives doing it. You just don't hear a lot about it, and you don't hear a lot about the practicality behind it. That's why I really like Hannah's course, because there's just the practicality. So if you're working with this client doing this is what you should probably be offering, or this is how you should price your services. So I just like how practical that course was, and how it made this not scary.
That's key. Yep, it kind of took the fear out of it. Being in such a welcoming environment with people sharing information so freely, it's like, okay, I can do this, right? It kind of gives you that confidence, like, no, I do have the skills. I can start where I am, right? I can just create an Instagram profile and there's my business. So it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be hard. I think that's the thing that surprised me too, especially being educated in like the business world, where you are taught that it does have to be hard. You have to convince like a bank to give you capital to start a business. It's like now with online business, you can just get started like in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's really that easy. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. No
And that can be
capital.
life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally life-changing because you have so much
Yeah.
power. I think that's what
You do.
another thing that's surprising is like you don't realize, unless you're kind of like in charge of the whole company, you don't realize how much you can't control in your day-to-day working environment. So as a teacher, like I can't control my schedule, right? I'm told what to teach. I have to hit certain things in the curriculum. I can go to the bathroom only at certain times because I have a room full of kids and I can't go down the hallway. So I have to eat my lunch at a certain time, right? Because then
Yeah.
they're coming in and I have to teach another class. So like you really don't realize how much of your day to day you kind of don't have a say in it, so to speak, right? So maybe some
Mhm.
jobs have flexible working hours, but not all of them. I can't go to school at 7 a.m. one day and 9 a.m. the next day, right? I have to be there at the same time. So I think that's like super kind of eye-opening. You don't realize how much
Mhm.
freedom you actually have as a virtual assistant. So you have the freedom of who you're working with, right? So you're connecting with people in your target market that you want to work with, right? You're not targeting everybody. You can't target everybody. And you shouldn't target everybody because you're not really talking to anybody if you're just screaming into the void. You really need to focus on who you actually want to work with. So picking a niche, right? Making sure you're speaking to that specific group. Uh, yeah, I think that's like
Yeah.
really the key is the freedom. Like I can work with a nice person. Wow. Like that's amazing. Right? Like to feel valued.
Life-changing.
Somebody saying thank you in an email, thank you. That really helps. Like that was amazing.
Mhm.
Like it's unbelievable how much that does for your mental health. It really is just shocking. And just
It's
feeling
true.
valued is just so amazing.
It is. It is. Yep. And so many of us are in toxic work environments where we don't hear those words, right? We're, dealing with contempt, hostility every day. And so pivoting into something where you can lean into your skill set, you can learn, continue to learn, be connected to a community of other entrepreneurs. Man, I don't think I have words for how life-changing that has been,
Yeah.
just having that opportunity to kind of tap back into your creativity too, and explore different interest areas that you have. Yeah, I love that. Tea Time Beauty says, you already have skills, you are just using them in a different place.
Yeah.
Quotes, Quinn. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I love that too. Yeah, it's true. Let's see here. It's going through comments. Can you both share your LinkedIn's if you have one as a VA? Yes, I will make a note to put those in the description once we get off. So yes, yes. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I guess I want to ask about digital organization because,
Oh,
ooh, I need help. I need help. Just like any tips you would share. You are a pro at digital organization, organizing your inbox, right?
mhm.
As you begin to take on clients as an entrepreneur, your inbox gets flooded sometimes. So
Yeah.
any tips that you would share on how to organize it so it can be more manageable, right? As you grow your business.
Yeah. So I would say the first thing is to flag every client, have them have their own color, have them have their
Oh,
own label. So when, you know, client A emails you, it's a little red box and like you have those emails from client A. So I would say that is key, trying to just label your inbox just to keep all the craziness, because that way you don't have to kind of filter through anything. It automatically filters it for you. So once you create the label and saying, this email address, flag it with this color and this label, it does it every single time that you send you an email. Another thing I would say is to organize the Google Drive. And I know it's scary. The Google Drive is like a black hole,
yes.
but
Yes,
like
it is.
I am a big fan of color coding and labeling everything, numerical labels. So every client has a number, every client has a color. So whenever I get an email from that person, I know that is the blue person that goes in the blue folder, right? So creating systems that automate as much as you can. So if you're downloading things or clients are sharing stuff with you through emails, right? Automatically add it to your Google Drive in your client folder. So don't have a whole bunch of just random things in your Google Drive. Like, take the time. And yes, it will take time if you have a lot of stuff in there. I've done this myself, just going through, organizing everything into folders. Having a number system works for me. Just having to-do lists as well. So a daily to-do list. I usually have a weekly to-do list. So things are due at a certain time, or if I have to do certain things, like I have to send a specific newsletter out on a certain date, or responding to clients with inbox management within like a 48-hour time period. Having just a paper to-do list or a weekly to-do list helps a ton. So usually what I do is, before I go to school, I have my daily to-do list. I wake up, eating breakfast, writing down what I have to do after school. So that way, when I come home and I put on my VA hat, like, I know what I have to do. I have all the things written down from the morning. I don't have to kind of scramble and look through emails. So some of it I write the night before. Some of it I write in the morning of, just to keep on top of everything. So list, color coordinate that Google
Mm.
Google Drive, and the inbox. Because once you label everything, you can automatically push it to the labeled folder too, so it doesn't actually show up in your inbox. So there's lots of different things you can do with your inbox. You can have a priority list and all that kind of stuff too.
I love that. Yes, the color coding is a great tip. It is one that I can implement right after we get off this. Ooh, when I tell you, my inbox, it's all over the place. Yes, very helpful.
All my Marissa emails, they come up, they're like a pink color. So every time you email me, I have like a little pink box with your name in it.
I love that. Yes. And I think that's so important, right? Before your business even starts growing,
yes,
to have those systems in place so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming when you do start getting clients, when that information does start coming in, because they can feel like, ooh, where do I even start with all this? But if you have the systems in place before, you're good to go.
And then as you get a new client, give them a new label, give them a new color, and just keep it rolling. Because once you establish that routine as getting a new email, labeling it, and then having it come through with the same label each time, once you start doing that, you'll start to do it automatically. Like, as long as you have a system in place, systems are there so that you don't have to do extra thinking. So once the system is in place and you know where things go, it's kind of like in your house, right? So you have like a cutlery drawer, all the cutlery goes in the drawer. So just think of it like organizing your kitchen. You have stuff in your kitchen organized. You have spoons here, you have knives and forks here, you have bowls here, you have glasses here. So you're doing that, but virtually. So think about how you organize your kitchen and then kind of translate that to the computer. That's basically what you're doing.
Ooh, okay. See, that's a helpful reframe. Okay. Kitchen, yes. I need this information.
Transferring skills. You already organize your kitchen. You do not go into anybody's kitchen, open a drawer, and it has like an insane amount of stuff, right? There's not bowls and spoons and whatever in the same drawer. You go into a kitchen, it's organized. Just do the same thing. So again, you're transferring a skill. You already know how to organize. You have a sock drawer that's organized. Your dresser drawers are organized. You know how to do it. Just do it digitally.
Ooh. So can we expect like a course on this in the future? Because the information gems you're dropping, I know a lot of people probably need them too.
Yeah, the inbox thing, it's not intuitive. It's not an intuitive thing. You have to actually go in through like the systems and settings and stuff. So it's a little like kind of fidgety a little to kind of get it set it up. But you've been asking me for a digital organization.
I know I have, like, because I need it, y'all. I need it. But yeah, I did want to ask you how you're balancing being an entrepreneur while still, working as a teacher, working your full-time job. How has that process been, balancing those two?
It's not as hard as I thought it would be, just because the nature of freelance work. So I don't have to be clocked in at an office at a certain time. So, and plus I have clients in different time zones. So I have one client in my actual time zone. Everybody else is just all over the place. So it's always going to be asynchronous. I'm not going to be on Australian time. All right. So I think a lot of it just has to do with, again, the system. So the inbox is organized and is pre-sorted, so I don't have to go crazy like trying to find anybody's email. Writing the to-do list either the night before or the morning of what I have to do. keeping those systems in place, and just having a checklist, really. So what has to get done today? What has to get done by the end of the week? I mean, at school, I mean, I'm with kids most of the day, so I can't really do a lot. I mean, if there's an urgent email that comes through, I mean, obviously I can just check it on my phone, but a
Right.
lot of it is done after work. So again, depending on the week, I can have maybe 1 to 2 hours after work, or maybe I have 4 hours. Yesterday, I had like, oh, I think like 3 or 4 hours that I did
Hmm.
after work yesterday. So it really varies. So it's not that difficult right now to balance, just because it's easy to compartmentalize that kind of stuff, right? So if
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
that, okay, I'm going to come home and I'm going to work these hours, right? Set a timer. There's tons of timers. If you're doing virtual assistant work and you're working hourly, you're already doing a timer anyway. You have to track your hours for your clients.
Hmm.
So turn on the timer, say you're going to work for 2 hours or an hour, and then take a 15-minute break, get a snack, maybe eat dinner for a half an hour, and then come back. I think the easiest part is that I really enjoy this work. Like, I really enjoy being a
Mm.
virtual assistant. I love making that newsletter. It is so much fun. So, like, I love inbox zero. When I click the inbox and there's like 2 emails in there, I answer the emails and then I put them in the folder. Like, just doing something that I really enjoy doesn't make it seem like work. And like
Mm.
working with people that you really enjoy working with, that you have fun working with, emailing like little emojis and everything, like it's
Yes.
fun. Like sending an email to some like CEO in a cubicle is not fun. You're like, okay, how do I word this to not like
Oh.
offend anybody and like have them not say it the wrong way, but let them know they didn't do their job. But then
Hmm.
if you're a virtual assistant, you're picking people you have a connection with, basically. So
Right.
you have a rapport with your client almost before you start working with them. If they're referred to you by somebody else, they already know a little bit about you because that person referred you, or they've been following you on social media. So they know a little bit about you. So there's almost like a rapport that's already built in because you are networking and communicating with your clients through social media. So you're picking people that you want to work with. It shouldn't be a chore. You shouldn't be like, oh, I have to email this
Right.
person.
Hmm. That's true. That's true, because you are attracting your client base with the content that you create on social media, with the circles that you're networking in. You are creating your client base, right? So you should want to work with the people that you're working with, and they should align with your values. And I think, like, as an entrepreneur, as a freelancer, you have the opportunity to build that for yourself, which is not always afforded to us in corporate settings or traditional work settings. So, yeah, that's huge. It's
Yeah.
huge.
If you don't want to work with them, then just don't work with them.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
not, it's that's it. Like if you're like, okay, like this isn't what I wanted to do, or whatever the situation is, you can just part ways nicely and say, this is a pleasure working with you, and that's it. You can't do
Hmm.
that in the office, right? You can't say to the person in the cubicle next to you, like, okay, bye. Like you can't do that. But you can like pick who you are going to work with. I mean, the amount of
Yeah.
times like, you're working with somebody, you're like, oh, I wish I can say goodbye. Like in an office setting, right? How many people in an office setting
Yes.
are you just like, oh my goodness, this crazy person I have to work with? But like as a freelancer, you're picking who you're working with and you're deciding what you want to work. If you just want to do inboxes for everybody, just only do inboxes for everybody. Like you don't have to do
Hmm.
tasks you don't want to do either.
Mm. That part. That's
Yeah.
true.
So if you
That's
don't want
true.
to create a course or edit YouTube videos, don't do it.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
that's as simple as that. Like nobody's telling you to do anything. So as a freelancer, you can say, I only want to do these 4 tasks, right? So I offer
Right.
a lot of different services because I like to do those things. So I love creating courses. I love making graphics in Canva. Those are things I really enjoy doing. So I offer a lot of different services. If you only
Hmm.
enjoy graphic design, just offer graphic design. If you only enjoy, making Shopify websites, only do that. Like you don't have to do everything. Just do what you want to
Mm.
do.
Ooh, do what you want to do.
Yeah,
Yep.
like you can do what you want to do.
You can, and you have the ability and freedom to do that as a freelancer, as a virtual assistant, or any like online business owner, right? You have the ability to do that. It's in
Yeah,
your hands. It's in your hands. And we often don't get the opportunity to do that, especially not as Black women, to decide
yeah,
the type of work we want to work on, to do what, brings our passions alive. We often don't have that opportunity.
no,
And so this is huge, just
yeah,
in seeking more freedom in our lives, right?
If you don't like it, you can change it. If you, after a year, you don't want to do graphic design, don't do it anymore. You can change it.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want. That's the best part. If you started at something, you don't have to end at something. That doesn't have to be the end all. And I think that's kind of the trap a lot of us fall into with just traditional work, right? Like, oh, I've been working here for 10 years. It's like, I don't want to change. Well, you can change if you want to. Like, nobody's saying you have to stay there just because you put 10 years in, right? I've been a teacher for 12 years. I worked in the lab for 3 years before that, 4 years, a couple of different labs. So you're allowed to change. You're allowed to grow. I think like as adults and as women, as Black women, we're not told that we're allowed to grow.
That's true.
If something doesn't suit you, then do something else.
Right? That's a life lesson. Yeah. You're allowed to grow. You're allowed to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at a comment from Kia here. I don't have any social media, so I'm struggling to decide whether to get a Facebook page or Instagram or both. I think that depends on your comfort with the platform. I know that Facebook for me can be overwhelming sometimes, so I kind of stay to YouTube. That feels like the best social platform for me. I know that Hannah's advice is often to stick with one social platform to start off with, especially if you're new to it, right? The one that feels best to you, the one where your target audience hangs out. So if you have a more professional clientele, maybe check out LinkedIn. It doesn't have to be either one of those. But yeah, if you have any advice you'd like to share for that.
Yeah, just pick one. Pick one. And then over time, once you learn different platforms, once you pick one, a lot of times you can just schedule the same thing out to multiple platforms. So if you have a Facebook and Instagram for your business, then you have a personal Facebook and Instagram, that's 4 different accounts you would be posting to. You can just schedule all of that out and then push the same content, or you can push different content out. So a lot of this, you don't have to do every day. So you can schedule it out even on Instagram. Instagram has its own embedded scheduler. So just scroll to the bottom and just go to advanced settings and just schedule it out. So if you don't want to be on social media all the time, you don't have to be. You can just schedule everything on like a Monday and just the rest of the week is taken care of. So you can eliminate a lot of kind of like the social media nervousness by just implementing like systems and just do it once a week. So every Monday, I know I'm going to spend an hour making posts and scheduling them, right? And that's 1 hour a week, and then you're done for the whole week. So obviously you have to engage, and if people like or comment, you have to kind of pop in, but like the hard work is done. The engagement part should be fun, right? People are saying, oh, this is fun, or I have a question. That should be the fun part.
Agree. That is wonderful advice. Yes. Donna says this challenge is free for real. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is free. It is completely free. Yes. Yep. And even if you do decide not to take the full course at the end, just the knowledge that you gain within the challenge, that can help you start your business. Like you can start it with that. That's how powerful it is. So yeah. The educator asked, how long did it take you ladies to get your first client after starting your business? For me, so I did the challenge in February of last year, the 5-day VA challenge. And I think early May is when I had my first client officially. And that was in the process of exiting a full-time toxic job. So I still had that. I was still dealing with that and was able to kind of build my business, build my social media platforms, have my name, my business name, and then attract my target audience and land my first client 3 months after starting the challenge. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think mine. So yeah, I did the challenge with you in February. I did most of the coursework in the summer just because I had more time. I was also coaching spring sports too. So I was teaching kids how to like throw shot puts for like 12 weeks in the spring. So I didn't have a lot of, I had a lot of jobs. So I coached like shot put and discus throwers, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So I started getting really into the coursework and kind of taking notes and kind of seeing what I wanted to do. In June, I finished, and I started in June. I think my first client was the end of July, I think. So like a month after I finished everything. End of July, beginning of August. Yeah.
Yeah. So it can be quick, right? It can be quick. And that's a good thing about online business. There are not a lot of barriers that exist. Once you have the information, once you know the target audience you want to work with, you're kind of off. to launch your business, right? And experiment along the way. It doesn't have to be, I have to know everything before I get started. No, you learn along the way. So give yourself that freedom and flexibility to play and experiment with the tasks that you like to do. Yeah. Absolutely.
Freedom is freedom. Just
freedom.
That's like the key word, Douglas, is freedom, right? So if you want to do something, then just do it. Like if you want to work with a specific demographic, then or specific niche, then do it. If you want to offer one service, then offer that one service. You can just do WordPress web design. Or if you want to offer a lot of different services, like there's just so many options. I think a lot of it just has to do with like recognizing like you can do whatever you want. I think that can be scary a little bit, just having that freedom, because if you're in a toxic job, you don't have that freedom.
You don't. That's real. That's real. Yep. The freedom to do whatever you want. Because a lot of us are conditioned to have someone tell us what we can do. It's like, so when the freedom is in your hands, like, I want to work on these tasks, I want to work with these people, and I'm going for it. That's a complete mindset shift, right? Which I know that Hannah talks about that a lot too in the challenge, in the course. You kind of have to shift your mindset from being told what to do to realizing that you have the freedom to do what you want. And sometimes that takes time, right? And patience. That's a lot of conditioning to unlearn.
Really is. And then Hannah also talked about like recognizing that you're not an employee, like you're a business owner, like these are your clients. So you have to kind of make that mindset shift too. So like being an employee, being told what to do, to being the business owner and being in charge of everything. That's a huge mindset shift.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Because the freedom to tell people how much money you're charging as opposed to somebody giving you your salary, that's a huge difference.
It is. It is. And pricing is still a challenge for me, right? Being in that environment, like where someone does dictate your salary. And now all of a sudden you have to dictate the value that your skill set brings. That is not always the easiest. And I'm still working through that at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, same, definitely.
Yeah. Amina says, I love Quinn's portfolio.
Oh.
Thanks for this masterclass.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. And thank you. Thank you for that compliment. Yes. But I did want to ask you about Exodus Summit.
Yeah.
Exodus Summit, the impact that it has had on you, how it has inspired you to pivot out of teaching into being a virtual assistant and just seeking a more location independent lifestyle. And like you said, going after freedom, which I think a lot of us are trying to pursue at the moment.
Yeah, the Exodus Summit community, like I didn't know that much freedom existed, right? So like I've moved around the US. I've worked in California, I worked in Oregon for a little bit. I taught in Massachusetts, I lived in New Hampshire, I went to school in Maine. Like I've been all over the place. And that was a certain kind of freedom. And like it was just me and U-Haul. I was like, I want to live in New Hampshire. I was like, okay, like get the U-Haul, find an apartment. Then off I went, right? But there's a different kind of freedom with the Exodus community because it opens up doors like to things that you didn't know existed, right? So I didn't know how easy travel was. It just is not something, if you don't experience it, then you don't know how easy it is. But Stephanie and the house sitting never knew that was a thing, never knew house sitting existed. And it's just, there's so many options out there and they're not terribly expensive, right? House sitting is free accommodation. You just got to get yourself to the house. So you buy your plane ticket, you're in the house, and that's it. So I think the Exodus Summit community just gave me a lot of insight into things I just didn't know existed, and just the freedom you can have in different locations. So just seeing people like living their life, like a full life, just in different locations, just didn't know it was possible. I mean, you're hanging out in Mexico. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah. I didn't even know this was possible, like you said, until seeing other people do it, other Black women do it specifically. I'm like, oh, this is an option for me, because it felt very off limits, right? It felt like you had to be a trust fund baby to be able to travel around the world, to live in a different place than you were born in. That's huge. The freedom. I think that's what it introduced me to. And I see Amina's comment here. Rashida's not here, so I'll do virtual air horns in honor of the awesomeness that is Exodus Summit, baby.
Yes.
Thank you, Amina. Yes.
Oh my goodness. And Rashida in particular, oh my goodness, I love her for this. I was on one of her lives and I mentioned something and she kind of pushed me a little bit. She's like, well, your worst case scenario is staying like in the job that you don't like. So you're already living the worst case scenario. Like you're there and you want to change. So just change. And I was like, oh my goodness. I can't believe she just said that on a YouTube live. And I also can't believe how impactful that was. Right? You already are doing the thing that you not necessarily want to do. So what's preventing you from doing the next step? That was so amazing.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. I remember that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were probably in that live too.
Yeah. Yeah. What is that question? Like you're already in your worst case scenario.
Yeah.
So why not try? Why not try? Why not go after your dreams? Yeah. What is there to lose? That's true.
Yeah. That was such an eye-opening thing that she said. I was just like, this is so true. Just phenomenal.
Yeah. Agreed. But yeah, I guess I'll just ask, what are your dreams going forward for the future as you continue to grow Smiling Squirrel Virtual Solutions, your VA business, and also embrace a more location independent lifestyle in 2024 and beyond?
Yeah. So it's January 2024 right now. I'm still growing my business from part-time to full-time. I have a target date. Like I really want this to be my last school year. And I'm getting there. Like not 100% yet, but I'm getting there. That would be ideal. Because as a teacher where I live, it's also mandated that I live in the state. So I can't live in surrounding states either. So I'm really locked in with my location. So having that freedom, being able to travel more. So not having to work in the summertime is really not as great as it seems because you don't get paid for those months. I'm a 10-month employee, so I'm not getting an income for the summer months that I'm not working. So a lot of times I'm not actually free. I've been a camp counselor. I've worked retail over the summer. I know a lot of teachers that I work with now are bartenders over the summer. So you don't have that summer off because you have to make that summer income. Or we're doing schoolwork. I did a ton of curriculum work, schoolwork last summer. So just being able to have a vacation. That's like the goal this year is to go on vacation.
I love that.
So just ramping up from part-time to full-time with my freelancing and then really having that as my full-time job. That's the goal for this year. Definitely.
Yes. And we're going to see it happen. We're going to get to the end of 2024 and be like, remember that interview we did?
Yes.
In January? And everything came true. Yes. I love it. Just looking at some questions here. YOLO XOXO says, is the course live and what time will it be? It's not live. It's kind of like self-paced over the week. I know that Hannah holds like a masterclass towards the end of the week, but you can also watch the replay of that too. And what time will it be? It's just like on your own time. I think she said schedule like 1 to 2 hours, 1 to 1.5 hours per day. Something like that to complete the tasks that will be sent to you. There's also a Facebook community that you can join to network with other people who are taking the challenge too. But yeah, it's pretty much asynchronous, I would say.
Yeah, there's one challenge, there's one kind of task a day, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's at your own pace.
Yep. Mina asked, how did you track your target market? So for me, this was something I developed during the challenge, kind of realizing who I wanted to work with and the messaging that I would need to have to attract my people. And one of the things that you'll go through in the challenge is going live, which was new for me. Now I'm live now, like a year later, like I do this every week. But at the time, it was so scary. And being able to get over that fear, move through that fear of going live, potentially saying stuff wrong, which is always like my worst fear, really showed me that I have what it took to connect with my people, right? My target audience is not looking for me to be perfect. That's not the people I want to work with. So I think that was key. Doing the challenge, having those bullet points, the people I wanted to work with, and then realizing how I could be my authentic self to attract my people. Yeah. But anything you'd like to share on that,
Yeah,
Quinn? How to connect with your target
same
audience?
exact thing, right?
Yeah.
Identifying who you want to work with, and just being yourself. I think that's the key point here. So you don't have to be anybody else but yourself. So if you are, you know, a
Mm-hmm.
jumpy squirrel like me, just like, talking with the hands and going all crazy, like just be you, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
you're not authentic, that's going to show. So I think getting comfortable with presenting yourself like online to an online audience, I think that was kind of like the key. I think
Yeah.
once you know kind of who you are, then you can figure out who you want to work with. Because again, that's one of those things. If you're in like kind of like a toxic work situation or a corporate environment, you can't always like be who you are, right? A lot of us, especially Black women, you have to wear that mask. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't necessarily have that fullness of yourself in those environments. So I think trying to figure out how you want to run your business and who you want to work with, I think that's a big step.
Yeah. That's so true. That's so true. Yeah. And we don't often get spaces to be our full, authentic selves.
Oh,
But when you're a business owner, it's like you kind of have to attract your people. So learning that it's okay to kind of come out of the shadows, right? Be your quirky, authentic self, and your people will find you. I think that's huge.
yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
D or Died Mills, please correct me if I'm saying your name wrong. Yes, the switch in mindset will also be a challenge for me. Charge someone will require taking deep breaths. That's something I have to do. Breathing.
Mhm.
Breathing is powerful, but yeah, it's new, right? It's not impossible, it's just new. Being able to charge to determine your value for the services that you bring is a new concept to a lot of us. So that will take time and patience. And like you said, breath work is huge. Breathing through it, knowing that you can do it, knowing that the skills that you offer are of value to so many people out there who need them. I think that's key. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the days that Hannah has in the challenge too, going through the mindset, the money mindset. Like
Mm-hmm.
how do you value your services, how to think of yourself as a valuable like contributor, right? So you have
Yes.
skills, you have value, like how to see yourself in that role. So you're not being told what you can earn, you are telling other people your values. That's a huge mindset shift.
It is. It is. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, I would say sign up for the challenge. I linked it in the chat. I'll link it again in the description. But it's free. It can help you like really tap into your skill set. Like Quinn said, tap into the skills you already have. You don't have to go out and learn a new program or anything like that. Like you have so many skills, I guarantee you, just by virtue of living, right? By working, by doing everything that you do on a regular basis. And it's just tapping into that, connecting with your target audience, and marketing those services to your people. Yeah. Let's see. Tea Time Beauty just signed up.
Yeah,
Yay. I have my little notebook ready. Okay. I love that. I love that
yeah,
emoji. Yes, yes. And thank you. Thank you. Yes, yes. You're very welcome, Yola XOXO. Yvette says, love these conversations. So empowering. I'm glad. I'm glad. Okay, Natural ID. Pardon if I missed it, but how did you come up with your business name? So for me, my business name is Free Black Woman Virtual Solutions. And I kind of came up with that again during the challenge, realizing that I was trying to be a free Black woman, trying to get out of a toxic work environment that was not serving me, that was actually like depleting my spirit every day, and tapping back into my skill set and working for myself. So I just came up with that. I designed the logo in Canva during the challenge, put it into the community, and I received all of this positive feedback, which really encouraged me to keep going with my business idea. So yeah, but yeah, I know you already shared a little
yeah.
bit, but
And
Smiling Squirrel Virtual
I'm
Solutions. Yeah.
glad you mentioned like the feedback from the group because I was super nervous. I thought I had a bananas name and I was like, this is insane. Nobody's gonna work with me. This name just makes me sound like a crazy person. But like the feedback, like again, like you don't have to be like everybody
Mm-hmm.
else. You don't have to have like, the
No.
calligraphy and like the pastel background. Like I wanted to be a quirky squirrel with glasses and that was my logo. And
Mm-hmm.
people were just like, that's totally your personality. So like, yeah, it is. So,
Yeah.
so you have
I
to fit,
remember.
you have to make what fits, right? So you have to be authentic.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I remember when you came up with that, I was like, yes, that's
Yeah.
perfect. That is a perfect name. And no, you don't have to be like anyone else. Your brand doesn't have to be serious and like copy off of this person's that's like really serious. If that's not who you are, right? It's kind of embracing who you are, putting your authentic self out there. That's the key. Attract your audience. Yeah. Let's see. Educator says, don't undercharge. A mistake I made with another business wanting to help people out. I had to learn people find money to pay for what they want. That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And we often feel that pressure to undercharge for our services to attract more people. It's like, but your people value what you bring and they won't object to what you charge, right? That's another fear that I had. Yeah.
Ooh, that was a mic drop right there too. If you're attracting the people that you want to work with, they will want to work with you in turn, and they will pay your fees, right? So you're not trying to get everybody at the lowest price.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that's kind of viewing like a business relationship as reciprocal, right? Versus trying to convince people to see our worth, which goes into a whole other thing. Yeah, it's just connecting with people who already see it, who are not trying to haggle with you. It's like, no, I already see the value that you're bringing. Of course I would pay that. Why wouldn't I? That's a mindset shift. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, just looking through the comments. Kia says, is there a realistic timeliness for us to start gaining clients? I think it depends. I think it depends on how much time you have to dedicate to the program, because that will help you a lot in attracting your clients and knowing how to market your skill set. So for me, that was 3 months. And within that period, I was able to complete the course after taking the challenge and then put a blast out there, right? Telling people what I do. That's another thing I feel like it's kind of not talked about a lot. You have to tell people what you're doing because people don't know. But as soon as I did that, that's how I attracted my first client. So yeah, 3 months for me, but I think it depends. It depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have anything to add, please.
Yeah, it was 4 months for me. So I had like a extra month because I was coaching, but if you complete the challenge, I mean, you really could have a client by the end of the challenge because you have to be online, you have to present yourself, you have to interact. So depending on who you're interacting with, I mean, that's not impossible to have somebody at the end of the challenge. I know I was emailing with somebody that I would never have emailed without the challenge, just somebody I really admired on YouTube. And they got back to me. I mean, I don't work with them right now, but it was just so inspiring to have somebody say like, oh, you're presenting this to me. I value what you're presenting. Like, it was just so impactful. So if you want to get started quickly, you can start quickly. If you want to take your time, you can take your time. Again, it's freedom. You can do what you want.
It's freedom. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. Let's see. How do you incorporate being a virtual assistant as a service into a business you already have? I think it's just, I'll just say like telling people what you're doing, telling people that you're offering a new service. If you already have a client base, I think that's huge. Telling people, hey, I'm going to offer this service. And if you're interested, here's how to contact me, right? That call to action. That's very important in marketing. But yeah, I think that's great that you already have an existing client base that you can market a new service to.
You're already there, like, right?
That's exactly
finding clients. That's you already have them, so you're good to go.
Yes. Yeah. As we're wrapping up, I do want to ask how people can get into contact with you for VA services and also to follow you on Instagram because you have an amazing Instagram profile with your branding, and then also continue to just follow you and follow your journey online.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. I'm Smiling Squirrel Virtual. And then you drop the link for the link tree. So the link tree is in there in my Instagram profile as well. So you can book a discovery call, look at my portfolio, send me an email through there. Yeah, so Smiling Squirrel Virtual on Instagram is the best way to find me.
Yay. I'll just read a few comments as we're wrapping up. Amina says, I've gotten clients just by emailing people that I liked. It's true that the people that you want to work with are already looking for you.
Yes.
It's true. It's true. They're already searching for the services that you probably don't even know that you have, right? But it's just tapping into that. What have I already done throughout the years? What can I easily transfer to an online business that will attract the people that I want to work with? That's huge. And the challenge really helps you do that. It helped me do that. Third Eye Nation asks, should I market my business on more than one platform? I think it depends. I'll actually pass it to you if you have any words of wisdom to share on this.
I would say pick one to start, right? So if you're an Instagram person, stick with Instagram. Just pick the one that you're the most consistent with. So I know for me, Facebook, I'm not the most consistent on Facebook. I don't use it as much as I use Instagram. So I picked Instagram. Some people love LinkedIn. There's tons of information on LinkedIn. The networking on LinkedIn is huge, right? All the connections. So if you want to just do LinkedIn, just do LinkedIn. If you want to do just Facebook, do Facebook. If you want to have a YouTube channel, do a YouTube channel. Like, you really just pick whichever one that you are going to dedicate the consistency to. So you don't need multiple, just the one that you're going to use on a regular basis.
Yes. Agreed. Just pick one to start. Doesn't have to be hard. Doesn't have to be hard at all. But yeah, I just want to thank you so much for being here. And Quinn is also, she assists me running my online community that I started kind of out of coming through Digital Nomad Kit and realizing that I could create a space specifically for Black women digital online entrepreneurs. So it's Free Black Women Entrepreneurs. So she assists me with running that online community, which I will link in the description if y'all want to join. But yeah, I want to thank you so very much for being here at this masterclass that we didn't know was going to be a masterclass.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And your community is amazing. It's just the sisterhood and just like the camaraderie and how everybody's supporting each other. It's such a great place.
Yes, thank you. And yes, Daniela says, great live, love this conversation. Thanks, y'all. You're very welcome. I mean, thank you, sister, so much. This gave me the push I need to get back in the game. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. You're very welcome. And yes, Tea Time Beauty. It's a beautiful, sacred space here. Yes. Yeah. Beautiful words to end on. So I want to thank y'all so much for contributing everything that you have in the chat. And again, thank you to Quinn for being here, being a lovely guest. But yeah.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Until next time, y'all. See ya. Bye. Thank you for being here.